computer. I'm getting hello. This is exciting. Welcome to another edition of the podcast for those who believe. And today we're really honored to have a lovely daughter of the Casa, Kumi Ueki.
Yes.
I think I got that right.
Yes.
We were practicing.
Yes.
Originally from Japan, which is great because it's universal family. The Casa families from all over the world, but you're living in New York now. And we recently did a little collaboration and we'll continue it when the time is right for peace on earth, because we really need peace. And really, these podcasts are about bringing the Casa family back together and getting to know each other better, because there were so many thousands of people in the Casa in the years gone past. And we might have passed like ships in the night, and we never really got into any in-depth discussion with many people, about our work at the Casa or what happened at the Casa. Number one, how we heard about the Casa, how we managed to get there. We all have our own stories, and also how it changed our lives forever. I wouldn't be talking to you today only for the Casa, and how in 2025, what we learned at the Casa, it was like the University of Life. There were so many God moments, so many teachings that came down from everywhere, and not only from the birds and the bees, but also from our brothers and sisters who were there, and not even physically talking to people. There was so much love in the Casa. People were helping each other go ahead of each other in the line. Some people were overcome with the energy. A lot of the Casa workers came out and carried people into the infirmary, which was amazing, and also giving each other water or just supporting each other all the time. There's so much love. And the Casa energy to this very day is extraordinary. It's gone up another level. So, whatever is happening on the planet, the Casa is responding on that level, despite the fact that the medium is not there. And we want to give thanks to Joao de Dias for bringing us all together, for saying yes to his mission, because without him, we would never have met and grown together and become this astonishingly diverse Casa family. So, Kumi, you can take it from here. I'll, interject and have a chat with you about it. But how did you hear about the Casa and what brought you here? We can start there.
Yes. So I'm a massage therapist. And when I was going to the massage school, the Swedish Institute, uh, I heard an instructor talking about John of God.
Wow.
And she was talking to other people, other group, but I was kind of curious listening. And she was talking like she had cancer maybe 20, 30 years ago. And her mother took her to Abajania,
Mm.
and she talked about all the butterflies and all the miracle stories. But she was talking around, so I couldn't hear very well. And I asked the guy next to me, my classmate, what is she talking about? And he said, I don't know, someone called John of God. And that time I wasn't too much curious, but after a few days, I started to like, I want to find out about this.
Yes.
And that was 2006. And my curiosity grew and grew. And I think uh, maybe twice a year, I searched, Googled,
Wow.
and only Saint John came out.
Oh, yeah.
But by that time, I thought that was like 20 years ago back then. I thought uh, this John of God is already died. Like I
Right.
didn't know he was alive. And 2000, I think it was 11, I was watching an Oprah show,
I remember
and
her being here. Yes.
In Oprah show, they were talking about the producer of Oprah show went to see him.
Mhm.
And I thought, I want to see him.
Of
Just from the
course.
curiosity,
Yeah,
I want to
right
see
there.
him. And it sounded crazy, but I think everyone I met, I said, there's a medium out of nowhere in Brazil. I thought it was in the jungle. So I said, in the jungle, there's a guy who gives spiritual surgery. They cut without anesthesia and they heal. All my friends
Woo-hoo.
said,
Sounds
uh-huh.
crazy,
And,
but it's true. It's true. It
and I
happened.
said, I want to go. And people go like, oh.
Want to see that?
But, but saying to everybody, it started to become reality. And a lot of my friends says, if you want to go, you should go. They encouraged me. And then I started Googling. I started to see about these guys. So I checked the guys and I found this is the one I should go. And that time I had ulcerative colitis.
Wow.
So I thought I didn't go to cure colitis. I made the colitis excuse.
I see.
I have colitis. Doctors cannot heal me. I have to go there. That was my strategy.
Yes.
And uh, I decided to go. And it was very scary going there. So many challenges,
Of course.
very scary. But I arrived and
You were
I,
helped to get there.
yes,
Yes, very
yeah,
much so. You were unseen beings were helping you. I think that's what most people felt that when where there's a will, there's a way. And also I felt when I was coming here, the doors were opening for me with invisible beings. I
yeah,
know it sounds a bit crazy
yeah.
now, but it really did unfold for me in that way. Without physically seeing anything happening, it just literally the spirit world brought me
Yeah.
here to
And
Abidjan.
actually, I don't remember how I got the book, but I was reading the um yeah, John of God book in
Yes,
Japanese
yes, there's a few of them.
before Heather's book.
Oh, yes.
Yes, in Japanese. And that time my husband was super sick
Okay.
and he wasn't recovering. And I was very, very worried. And when he was sleeping, not doing well, I was like, please get better.
Of course.
And I was reading the book while I was reading about the current room and explaining about entities.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I felt there are beings inside my rooms.
They're everywhere. Yes, I know.
And and when I look at the clock, it was 4:44.
Wow.
And a few days ago, somebody told me when you see the continuous numbers, it means angels are there.
Yes, always.
And I kind of felt maybe I'm in the current room or the entity came here
Yes.
to invite me.
Mm.
I felt something. And the following day, my husband woke up, had a big yawn, and he said, I recovered.
Just like that.
Just like that. And when I went to Abajania, I was given my hotel key, my room, and the number was 44.
Oh my God, that's amazing. That's
Uh,
beautiful.
and
Were you
and
alone in Abidjan? You came alone?
uh, I was with Steve's group.
Oh, yes, lovely. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
great.
And I was in Amazonas.
Yeah,
Yes, yes. And when I saw the 44, I knew, oh, they came to pick me up.
absolutely. It was a sign. There's signs everywhere when we open our eyes to see.
Yeah,
We see that this
yeah,
is all a divine orchestra. It's beautiful.
yeah. And when I remember I got I got off the plane from the airport to Abajania. Mm, in between, I started to sleep. I couldn't stay awake. I think when the car went into the crystal area,
Yes.
I always get knocked out
Yeah, it's one of
and
the
going.
biggest crystal plateaus in the world. So it attracts a phenomenal amount of divine light energy and healing energy, which comes with anesthesia. And also, the crystal attracts a great healing power. It's very high above sea level here, and the crystal just multiplies this beautiful healing energy. So it's all part of a divine plan between the Casa, the crystal, and the waterfall, and all of the activity in the Casa, group consciousness and meditation, current rooms, um, and people's desire to be healed and asking for help. This all is part of the highest of vibrations. So you are obviously being anesthetized, and when you are out, when you're asleep, they work on you because you're resisting, not resisting. Your resistance is zero.
I always get knocked out.
Good.
Even the second time, third time, like I always sleep. And I really like when we go into Abajania, the taxi driver tell me it's Abajania, and I wake up. And I love that moment. Ah, I'm in Abajania.
How many times did you come here?
I think I went 5 times.
Wow.
Yes, in a
Excellent.
very short period.
Right.
Yes.
And did you have operations here in the Casa, interventions in the Casa?
Only the first time,
Mhm.
and mm, after the first time intervention, we need to go into the hotel room for 24 hours.
Yes.
I think that time my Kundalini started to activate,
Okay. Great.
Kundalini awakening.
Mhm.
And I didn't know about Kundalini for like 5 years. So I had no idea what was happening to me.
Mhm.
And that happened, and I came back to New York, but I'm getting energy attacks
Of course.
from the
Yes.
from the Kundalini, and I didn't know where to go, who to ask, what to do. And I went around in New York. There are so many spiritual institutions, but I couldn't find, and I didn't know what to do. So I went back to Abajania and asked.
Good for you. Back to source. Yes.
Yes, yes. Also, and the first time I went just for the curiosity. I just want to see this. And seeing other people there. It was my first spiritual community. I didn't know anything about spiritual communities. Like I didn't know about spiritual teachers, like what's spiritual teacher?
Yeah, I
Or
understand.
I didn't know Hail Mary. I didn't know
Ah,
Rosary.
wow.
Someone told me I work with light. I say, no, no, I'm a massage therapist. I'm not an electrician, kind of like very ignorant.
That's so funny. Yeah,
And
Patricia.
looking at those um spiritual community people, I thought, oh, they are woo-woo. I don't want to be one of them. I'm just here to see.
Yeah, a spectator.
Yes, yes. But I left, but I go into this energy attacks and don't
Wow.
know what to do. And went back to Abajania. And that time, uh, I decided I'm going to be one of them.
Of a
I'm going,
community, really. Yeah.
yeah, I accepted my spiritual life.
Great, because we're all
Yeah,
participants. There are no spectators. It's like Burning Man
right, right.
in the desert. We're all participants, and even if we realize it or not, we're part of a bigger plan. And sometimes we think we're looking from the outside in, but we're actually part of this group consciousness that without us being there, and the rosary is very high vibration. It's vibrational work as opposed to being Christian or Muslim or Buddhist, or we were all part of this God consciousness, which is all encompassing. It encompasses all religious belief systems, and in particular those without belief. There was a lot of doubters there, people who said, I want to see physical operations and surgeries and interventions because I don't believe this is going on. And I mean, I was witness to thousands because I worked in the current room, and you didn't have to convince me at all that it was real because I saw it firsthand umpteen times. But many
Because I've
people,
seen so many.
yeah, many people collapsed because of the energy, and you could feel this force field. Literally, without seeing it, it was so real, and this massive anesthesia as well. When I was getting physical interventions, I didn't feel any pain, discomfort once, but I had three physical interventions, and literally, I don't know how I didn't die, especially with the scissors up the nose, because that really is phenomenal. I could feel the steel in my brain and my pituitary gland, and I was not. It was uncomfortable when he was turning it and turning it, but I was not screaming in pain, or I was smiling on my way to the infirmary, like with this beautiful beatific, like a saint, really. I was just beaming this high energy, and it did change my life. It opened up doors for me, and all other levels of consciousness. It grew my consciousness, but not. I didn't notice it immediately, but because of the work was continuous, and I'm sure you felt every time you came back there was another level of learning, and also another layer taken off you. It's almost like we have all the peeled back like an onion. We had all these layers taken off us that we'd accumulated, like disbelief and doubt and lack of confidence or self-esteem. We kept growing and experiencing growing pains, and being told to sit in the current and meditate. You know, People objected to that, coming, 8,000 miles and just being told to sit and close their eyes. They're like, oh, what's all this about? But there were people being operated on in those rooms invisibly because we couldn't physically see with these eyes. But our third eye was opening more and more and more. And I experienced physical symptoms of physical interventions in those rooms when I was meditating there. So everyone's experience is different. But what kept bringing you back? You knew there was something going on, obviously, that was bigger than you know, just the physical world.
So, going back home, like I kind of got the idea. Oh, I couldn't say it, but I got some, oh, this is it. I'm going to be one of, like, I'm going to have a spiritual life. And going back home at JFK, picking up the luggage, I heard, uh, God is not out there, it's inside me.
Wow, that's brilliant.
And like, I know by the mind, and we say, of course, but in a different cellular level, I felt it and I was so happy. And the prayer you gave yesterday, God, I've been looking for you.
Oh, it's a
That
lovely prayer. I love it.
that
Yeah.
that that is my one of my top uh prayer. And s-
But yeah, that God is inside.
and so
Yeah, that God is inside. Like I looked
yes,
for you everywhere and I found
yes,
that you were inside of me. So without
yes,
looking for you, I found you at last. So
yes,
God is
yes,
within. That's a
yes,
huge revelation. That's like a
yes,
big, big
yes,
awakening. Yeah,
yes.
it's amazing. I
And
loved it.
when I'm in Abajania, it's so easy to do. It's like, of course. But once I'm back in New York, I go back to my daily routine.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to forget that feeling. And I miss that feeling so much. And I thought, oh, I always love your current room also.
Oh,
That I didn't want to forget that commitment or connection. And I thought, I'm thinking this way. Everybody must be thinking the same too. So, and there must be so many people from New York went to Abajania. Why don't I make a monthly meditation group?
oh, right.
So, so I made a meditation group meeting once a month, and I read the prayer like I wanted to be like you.
You're my sister.
So we start from praying the opening prayer. We finish with the closing prayer. And every month I brought different prayers and reading together. And that was very, very cleansing. But while I was doing, um, I th- one one guy said, "Do you have a permission?" So I said, "Do I need a permission?" So I went back to get permission, which wasn't given.
Yes.
But, but that was one reason I went back. And another reason I went back was that time he was going to he was going to Omega or Australia. He was traveling.
A lot,
Medium,
yes.
Medium Joao was traveling a lot. And I said, there must be nobody while he's away in Abajania.
Hmm.
Then I heard, no, no, like entities are even more active when he's away because it's Joao who collected the entities, and entities still stay inside, and the current feels most sacred that time, something like that.
Exactly.
So I thought, I have to witness that.
Good girl. You're an adventurer.
I think I was more interested in that than the person. Like I always
Yes.
like I always liked uh, those energies, entities, even like princess stories, like Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
Uh, my most favorite was the Little Mermaid,
Oh, yes.
not the Disney version, the original version.
Okay.
Uh, at the end, she gets upgraded to become an entity and help the world. She
Wow.
loses her body.
Mhm.
She gives up the prince and she jumps into the ocean,
Mhm.
and the god gives her to become an entity because from her kindness.
Oh, lovely. That's really sweet.
And and so I was always um wanted to know about entities.
Great.
So yeah,
You came
so that's
here without the entity being here, without Medium Joao being here. You came here to experience Abijana when he was away.
yes,
How did you
yes,
find
yes.
that? Did you enjoy that?
I enjoy that. I enjoyed
It was
that.
different, right?
It was different. It's not
Chaotic, noisy, so many people, more peace, and also more of a strong connection, which is
laid back.
yeah, more laid back and less
Yes,
pressure. Even though the work was the same, you know, you go into the current at the same time, you hold the current, the prayers are said, then you go for your soup and you go to the waterfall. It's the same thing that's happening now in Abidjan. Many people ask me what it's like now. In fact, if anything, since the pandemic and the medium has gone out of the Casa, the energy has upshifted in accordance with the vibration of the planet. How the lower it gets in some places, the higher it gets in Abidjania. So now we're vibrating on such a high level because you know, for me, there is no need for a medium anymore because we've moved into a new dimension in the history of our humanity. And we are vibrating on such a high level now that the connection is direct. So we don't need to a middleman, if you like. This is my personal feeling. And in Abidjan right now, the currents are shorter, they're only 2 hours, but the vibration is so high and you are really not that you're having out of body experiences, but you're on a different dimension completely, and it's so pure, the energy, and so it's a merging of masculine feminine, and it's also uh, the God consciousness. It's so powerful, and there's so rapid transmutation of energy now that it's almost like linear time. The time is God's time. You don't even feel like you're in the current for 2 hours. It's like 15 minutes. And going to the waterfall, you just so release so much so fast. And it's massively cleansing. And people ask me to put names in the, without even pictures, just names in the triangle or the basket or anywhere in the casa. And they get immediate results. You know, they get what they need, not what you want. So it's amazing how it's multiplied the energy so rapidly, and there's no fast track to healing, but certainly it's moving at such an accelerated pace now, energetically. It's beautiful. It's really, really strong. The Casa has evolved as a spiritual center um, without the need for distraction or um, one person. It's just unity now. It's oneness. It's out of separation into oneness, if that explains it. So this is probably part of what you felt when you came here without the medium being here. It was always stronger when he
yes,
wasn't here. And that's with
yes.
respect to the medium, he was amazing. when he was here, and he was, the physical interventions were really for people who were non-believers, like doubting Thomas, show me the wounds of Christ. I mean, I didn't need to see them after a while, but certainly at the beginning, I was a non-believer, and I wouldn't have come to Abidjania if he hadn't have been here. But I think that was then, and this is now, and we've moved into another upshift of energy. We're moving upwards and upwards and upwards, higher all the time. And once we surrender and keep surrendering, healing is, nothing is impossible right now. I mean, there's phenomenal healings happening in the Casa without a figurehead. And all the entities are really working so much. Saint Rita, nothing is impossible to God. And Dom Ignacio, of course. I mean, all of them. King Solomon, King David, it goes way back, to the beginning. So I'm glad that you were saying that I have a picture of Dr. Augusto here.
Yeah.
He's amazing. I know you have pictures of the entities behind you, but you're
Yes, I
saying
have him too.
he is amazing, because when I came first, Arturo was saying to me, "Oh, this guy," written on the bottom, it says, "My phalange group of entities is not 10 or 100. It is thousands and thousands of entities of light and love working with me all the time." And he says, "I will go to the abyss to save one soul." This is how much compassion and love the entities have for us. And Dr. Augusto was such a great transmuter of energies, and he worked he worked really fast. He was so quick. The lines used to go really fast, and we loved when he was there because we got out earlier. But they're all with us, and he is still working extraordinarily hard in the Casa, and he's everywhere. I mean, he's in your house, and wherever I go, they come with me, and I have no doubt they are there, and I can feel their presence. When I just sit quietly and close my eyes, I know they're there. But great that you came back when he wasn't here, and you're here for the mad rush and the thousands of people as
Yes.
well.
I
And
don't know why I thought that was very much needed to validate myself. Like
mm,
I needed to do that for my faith to believe.
yes.
Yeah, I needed to experience myself, not just hearing the words that
Yeah, and also
and
the mediumists always say, "It is God who heals. I am an instrument in God's hands."
yes,
So all
yes,
healing was done by God.
yeah,
And, we are all just instruments in God's hands. I mean, I'm sure you're a very good masseuse, and I'm sure the
yes,
entities have enhanced your work through your
yes,
hands.
yes,
God is
yes,
working through you, because you came here and you received, God knows what we received. And me being back here now, I mean, I know I'm receiving phenomenal uh, everything. I'm receiving everything I need. And I'm very grateful. And I know that gratitude is a magnet for miracles, but it's not for me to question what I'm receiving. And I was brought to do these podcasts by, I had a dream, and it was the entities who came to me and said,
wow,
get the band back together.
wow,
Bring the sons and daughters back together, to give hope and faith and peace, and to help us to realize that we are part of a bigger community, that whether we're incarnate or disincarnate, I mean, a lot of people passed on over the years, but certainly they're working through the portal of the Casa, and we don't have to be physically in the Casa to receive the healing. I mean, where you are in New York now, you're receiving healing. And this is to
yes,
remind us in 2025 that the work never ended. In fact, it upshifted, it actually multiplied. So now we're working with this phenomenally high vibration that it's so off the charts. It's like I never thought I would even, sometimes I feel like I'm going to get a nosebleed when I sit in the car,
Mm,
which is, literally,
wow.
I'm absolutely, you know, for the entire current on another level
Wow.
of consciousness. And whatever they're giving me or doing with me, I surrender to that. And I'm happy that I'm able to recognize that I'm growing somehow on my spiritual path, which is why I'm here on earth. And also to try to help each other, because we're all walking each other home. As I used to always, I still say it, in the current, that's all we're doing is walking each other home. And if we can change one person's, um, pain into joy, then our job is complete, and by us even having this conversation, and anybody who's listening to us, if they can realize that the healing is there and that all things pass. If we have a good day, that'll pass. If we have a crappy day, that too will pass. So we're trying to find the happy medium. Sorry, God. But it's beautiful that you can share your stories and your when was the last time you were in Abidjan?
It was 2000, I think 17. That was a time I went to a different place in Brazil.
Hmm.
And since I'm in Brazil, why not stop by? And I think I stayed only like 3 days.
Yeah, it's
And
enough.
yeah, but even that, I love the waterfalls.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, just to be under that waterfalls.
It's
Yes,
amazing. There's
yes,
more. The
yes.
NC told me one time, he said, there's more going on at the waterfall than you could ever understand in your physical body. And there's so many entities down there that you cannot imagine how powerful that work is. It's not only physically beautiful, but it's what you cannot see with these physical eyes down there that is crucial to your evolvement, your spiritual work. And they are cleansing you so deeply, like it's impossible to even explain what's happening down there. And I said, okay, I kind of understood it. And I knew that something big was going on. And I wanted to ask you, did you go to the crystal beds at all? Because a lot of people had a profound experience
Yeah,
with the
I
crystal
did
beds.
crystal beds also, but herbs and crystal beds are, I didn't feel it so much.
Yeah, it's a
I
personal
did,
thing.
but I like the waterfalls, Casa water, triangles. I love the chapel.
Oh yeah, the triangles. I always carry my
Yes,
triangles for protection,
yes, yes.
And the little
The
chapel
first,
where Saint
the
Rita.
first time I did the triangle in the chapel, the walls started to sing to me,
Wow.
saying, I love you, and nonstop. And I don't know that voice. It sounded like a Caucasian blonde lady from northern part.
Yeah.
I cannot explain, but it was like Enya, like minty voice.
Wow.
So I don't
Because
know.
Sister Shayla, I don't have a picture of her here.
Oh, I see.
She
I know
was in,
Sister Shayla.
yeah, she was in the infirmary a lot. And there's a picture of her, and she looked like Marilyn Monroe. Because I
Yes,
said,
yes.
when I worked in the infirmary, I asked the girls there, I said, is that Marilyn Monroe? And they said, no, that's Sister Shayla. She was a nurse in World War II.
I see.
And
I
she is
see.
working in the infirmary and she works in the Casa. And she was killed in a bomb raid in a bomb shelter in London, was bombed. And she is tirelessly working. And she comes with a floral scent because I got this smell of flowers. And I was saying, oh my God, what's that smell? And then they said, oh, that's Sister Shayla. And I was like, oh my God, the entities come with smells. And one time I got Baziri de Menezes, who was the spirit doctor, who actually, through Chico Xavier, told Medium Joao to build a casa in Abidjan. He was the doctor of the poor. He died a pauper because he didn't believe in charging people. He was a spiritist, and he came with the smell of ether, which is like gas. And I was in the infirmary working, and I said to the girls, I better go to the cafe, which was in a different place. It was right opposite the infirmary at that
Right.
time. I said, I better go and tell them to turn off the gas. There's a gas leak. And they were going, no, 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 Dr. Baziri de Menezes. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they said, no, that's his signal, the smell of ether. And I was like, oh my God, they come with smells. And to me, to get my head around that, and then when I started explaining it to people in later years, they were looking at me like I was looking at the girls in the infirmary going, they're mad in the head. They really think this is real, but it is actually a real thing. And some people in Ireland get the smell of ether and they don't have gas in their homes. And I know that for facts. I spoke to them. So it is Baziri de Menezes working on them anywhere in the world, doesn't matter where you are. He'll probably come to you tonight.
Wow. Wow.
Did you find
I
that
also,
your work in New York with massage was enhanced by your coming to the casa? Did you feel more connected or um,
yes, now like what I'm selling is people come to me because they feel safe and peaceful.
sure, sure.
And I give the safe space, and when it's safe, the body relaxes, and I connect to each body's, I don't know, light or the life force,
Yes.
and I let that heal the body. I'm not doing, I'm just giving the safe space, and everything is fine, and let your body heal by itself. That's my style.
Wow, that's
So
beautiful.
working is the most fun for me. It's it's
Excellent.
really a blessing.
And
Yes,
that was given to you by the entities, surely, of the Casa, because you're very open to energy. And massaging
yes,
is energy work. And I know that when you were having an operation in the Casa, the entities were very telling us we were very sensitive and open for 7 days after the interventions. And we couldn't do energy work because our bodies were so open. So
right.
you were probably stopped from working for a while, but then when you went back to it, you were given an extra dimension of healing because they had worked on you when you received your intervention here. And I know that you're working through the portal of the Casa. Um, Even when you came to me a few weeks ago and said, let's do a little peace, uh, prayer.
Right.
It's very, very
Yeah,
simple thing to ask and to do. And I was so thrilled. And I know that came from the entities of the Casa, because I was also feeling disempowered by the chaos in the world and the lack of harmony and everywhere, not only in America, but also the war zones, which people are really desensitized to. And as humans, we really need to realize that we're part of the same source, that if these are our brothers and sisters in war zones, and uh, God answers prayer. Prayer moves mountains. Faith literally moves mountains. And any vibration of prayer that goes into the world is lifting the vibration. So that's why I suggested doing it again. And next Saturday I'll be here and we can do it again. And it's natural for me because I did all those currents in the casa, and then during COVID I just another dream came true, and it was just Saint Rita saying take the current online. And I was like, okay, I didn't know how to do it because I'm not that au fait with the computers. but they did it. They worked through me. It's not me. It's a group effort. And then
Yeah,
your
that
incentive.
those currents during the COVID, like that kept me sane.
Me
Like
too.
that was the main thing. Every day I look forward to, and was
Yeah,
re
for me too, because
saved me,
it was
saved us.
actually rising to that call from the entity. It was the voice of Saint Rita who really spoke to me. I didn't know where to start, but every time I put my hand out, the right prayers would come, the right music would come. Some of it was copyrighted, but it helped me through all of the days as well, because it filled my days with researching prayers, different themes. If it wasn't one of the Casa entities or a saint or a holy being, I did a lot of Buddhist meditations, and I learned a lot about Hinduism, and I did all the different religious. I also did peace, of course, and I did vibration, flowers. I just, because we were getting roses in the Casa when it reopened, and we got roses on. The roses of the Casa are very highly vibrational. I mean, one petal under your pillow, and they're so healing. I must send you some actually. I got two roses on Friday, but I really it was for everybody. It wasn't just me doing them for myself. I shared them with everybody because that was what I was instructed to do. And immediately afterwards, I used to go down to the waterfall and just get a beautiful cleansing for the next day's current. And for the first
Wow.
year, I did them every day. And the second year, it was 5 days a week. And the third year, it was the Casa days. So there's 610 of them on this channel. So if you scroll down, take your pick, and you know each of them speaks to us about different things, and it speaks to healing. It's all about healing and getting to know the unseen beings that are around us. Dr. Augusto, Jose Valdivino as well. I have him here. He's amazing. He's a protector of families, and he's
Mm,
incredible. They all have their place, but they help with whatever we need. They're all part of a phalange that are working through the Casa. They had bodies like us too once, so they know all about the human condition, and they see our suffering, and they know exactly what we need and how to work with the God consciousness to bring this healing to us. And then this other
I
incentive.
learned a lot. I learned a lot about each entity's story. You explained about where where they were born and what they did, and
Yeah,
I enjoyed that too.
and it
There's
brought them to a
their
human
human
level.
story.
Yeah,
Yes, yes,
it
yes,
humanized them because they
yes.
weren't just some, entity way up in the ether floating in outer space
Right,
like a saint up there. They brought them to
right.
life because they really did come in, and I learned a lot about them too. I did a lot of research. I spent a lot of time
Mhm.
researching through different books
Yes, that's what I thought.
and different lifetimes. Many of them had different lifetimes. So it reminded us
Mm.
of how many lifetimes we had had. And I mean, that was a huge learning for me in the Casa because I was a real doubting Thomas. And I know that
Mm.
Dom Ignacio one day, I didn't know it was Dom Ignacio, and he held my hand, and he looked into my soul as they did, and he said, "We have been together many, many, many lifetimes." And as soon as was saying this, I got a flash of the battlefield because he was a soldier. And I always had a knife phobia when I was right through up until then. And every time I had a knife in my hand, for some reason, I just knew how to use it, and I knew I'd killed people with it. I don't know why. It's kind of a very weird thought, but anyway, I had a vision of the battlefield. So I knew that I had a lifetime or knew Dom Ignacio from lifetimes. And I know that we all did. That was not my, I'm not being egotistical. We all had past lives together with the entities. There's no coincidences. We're all part of this huge God plan. And we all know each other, whether we realize it or not, from past lives, which is incredible when you think about how simple that is. And when I had this flash of the battlefield, uh, and then later on, he told everyone to open their eyes in the current. I was just mortified. And he spoke at length to me about the work I was doing in the Casa was not only for me, it was for all my ancestors. And it explained
Mm.
so much that I had felt, and it validated so much for me that I was very fortunate to actually live here and be so close to the entities. But this is just an example of how we are all um, part of this. I mean, we've all had lifetimes together, and we've all been with Dom Ignacio. I'm nothing special, you know, and we've been with Dr. Augusto, and we've been, so we're just, it's like a reunion, you know. Us talking now is like a reunion. I
Yes.
know you as my
Yeah.
sister, and whatever lifetime, maybe I lived in Japan and you lived in Ireland, and before, you
Yes.
know, and we're two guys, you know, so anything is possible. And I mean that sincerely. I've never speak anything that wasn't true or that I didn't feel really rang true for me. I mean, we get goosebumps all the time,
Yeah.
and that really shows that there's a truth being spoken. I mean, I was just getting goosebumps all the time. I still do. That we have been, we know each other, and literally we're just getting to know each other more in this lifetime again.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
just delighted that we can come together in this way across the miles, and the technology brings us together. So there is good in the internet, even though there's a lot, if it's used in this way, you know, and that we can continue with the work by doing the peace meditations. I can do them for as long as I'm here. And then in the summer when I go to Ireland, I could probably, we'll talk about it anyway. We'll keep them
Mhm.
going. You know, they're short enough for people just to, and then I put
Yes.
them on YouTube so people can just take 10 or 15 minutes in the evening if they're busy during the day and just stop and really connect with the energy of the peace beyond all understanding, which is really what we are doing on the planet. And you know, when people die, I know in Ireland, I don't know what it's like in Japan, but they always put RIP, rest in
Hmm.
peace, you know,
Hmm.
which is the ultimate
Yeah.
goal of our
Yeah.
lives in Catholicism. I wish we would live in peace, you know,
Yes.
LIP,
Yes.
um, because that really is what we need to be doing on the planet.
Yes.
And then,
Yeah.
you know, rest at last. You know, when we pass out of these bodies, we go, oh, at least your suffering is over. For most of us, anyway, unless we have some reincarnation to do, or we have to answer to whatever we did on the planet, you know. Um, but
Yes.
it's not a, you know, it's like being in school and a strict teacher going, you know, well, what did you do? This is not your homework. How did you get on with your homework? But God is compassionate, and we always get second chances, you know. So I don't think it's you know,
I,
there's
I
no
think
fear.
I think I think we get chances until we get it over and over. Like if we don't learn this lifetime, we have the next lifetime.
Yes, I
But
believe this.
it's better to learn it sooner than later.
Yes, it's better to learn it now, even though it
Right,
hurts.
right, right, right.
Yeah, and also we're not alone. this is something
Yes.
I really learned when I came here. I always thought I was born alone, I'll die alone. Then I come to the Casa and I see this amazing community physically, and everybody had blue coats on with on the back. How can I serve you? In love and service, in all things for the greater glory of God, the words of St. Ignatius of Iola, and it's written on the walls of the entities room. So everybody was there to serve us. And it was so beautiful. And then I realized we're not alone, because even when we're at nighttime, when we're, I always pray before I go to sleep, and I feel the presence of God much more so. And, even when I was walking the Camino, I was probably telling you that I walked it. People said, "Oh, you went alone." And I said, "Believe me, I wasn't alone. I may have been walking physically alone a lot of the time, because every step was a prayer. I was in a very deep space nine. I was in this incredible zone of holiness, if you like. I really connected with the divine power, because it's on the ley line, it's on the Milky Way. The church just built on the ley line. So originally, it connects with the star constellation. Compostela means field of stars. So I'm walking under the Milky Way,
Wow.
and it was a divine connection. So I was never alone. I was completely surrounded by benevolent beings and holy beings that were with me all the
Wow.
way. And even I didn't get any blisters, but I did feel sorry for the people who were blistered up or who had a lot of
Wow.
sunburn and carrying heavy backpacks. I mean, I did a lot of research beforehand, and it was a
I
perfect
see.
walk, But
How many days?
I took 2 months because I had the time, and I got sick in the middle, and I took time out to go up to um, see St. Ignatius of Iola's birthplace up in Loyola, and I went off the track to see St. Francis Xavier's castle from out of Pamplona, where Dom Ignacio fell. And I had very mystical experiences at all times. Dom Ignacio was with me, Xavier was with me, and the Smiling Jesus in Xavier's church. And there is a place marked where Dom Ignacio fell, and he's the patron of wolves. The wolves. There was a wolf. There's a statue with him being carried off the battlefield, and it's in the middle
I
of
see.
Pamplona, but in a busy juncture. But I felt I was alone in a completely different world. I didn't hear any. I just had a very mystical experience. And on his shield is wolves. So, it's a
I see.
very powerful journey. I think everyone's journey is different, though, So I was ready for it. And I would probably go back and do the Ignatian Way, which is down the whole side of Spain,
Mhm. I
from Loyola to Manresa. I was in the cave where um,
Wow.
he went to the hospital to look after the lepers, where he had his epiphany, where he
Wow.
wrote the spiritual exercises. But I also went to Montserrat, which is where he surrendered his sword and his dagger to the Black
Yeah.
Madonna. And I found his sword, not in
Oh.
Montserrat. I found his original sword in Barcelona. They
Huh.
led me to it, and I fell to my knees, and I was uncontrollably crying, because I have such. We all are connected. Dom Ignacio is part of our DNA. We were called to the Casa, so he is with you
Francis
too.
Xavier came to Japan in 1500.
He's amazing.
I
Yes,
think that's why we Japanese have something to do with Jesuit, like going back home, kind of.
yeah. He actually he was so he was on fire for Jesus, and he wanted to pierce the Great Wall of China with the Christ consciousness. And you see, he's very much prevalent in Japan. I mean, I was only in Japan 30 years ago. There he is. Um,
Yes.
his body is in Goa in India, and his arm is in
Yes.
Rome opposite Dom Ignacio in El Yeshu Church, which I haven't been to yet. But he baptized hundreds of thousands of people into the Christian tradition, and he has a huge following in Japan.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
and he is amazing. He wanted to pierce the Great Wall of China with the Christ consciousness, and he very nearly made it. And he was 45 when he passed away, and he was Saint Ignatius' best friend. And he somebody else was supposed to go to Japan, but it ended up being him, and Dom Ignacio had to let go of his best friend. And he used to write letters to Dom Ignacio, which I saw some of them in Loyola, where it was like a great adventure story because he learned the language. He learned everywhere he went. He was really smart, and he went into the people on their level of consciousness and really embraced the cultures, and he was such an amazing um, person, and I really felt close to him because he came from great riches like Dom Ignacio. I mean, you should see his castle. It's like, rock star stuff. And he had his own chapel in the castle. I mean, these guys were stinking rich back in the day, and they just gave it all up for God, and he went out into he died of malaria, which really is
Oh, I
sad,
didn't know.
within sight of the mainland China. But certainly he can feel his vibration very much in Japan, and well, I went to China, but I didn't feel I was on a different mission back then. But
I see.
certainly, I'm glad that we have a good connection with him because he's with you all the way.
Yes.
And Dom Ignacio said, "What good is it a man to gain the whole world and yet lose your soul?" Because he used to make fun of
Yeah.
Dom Ignacio when they were in Paris together because Dom Ignacio was limping because his leg was hit with a cannonball. And they were
Mm.
sharing rooms in the University of Paris and studying together. And Xavier was 15 years younger than him. So he used to make fun of him limping and everything. And they got off to a very rough start, but they became such fast friends and they loved each other very much. Um, and you can feel the connection with them. And now they love us very much and they really want us to be happy. So. But I can see that we are really connected by the energy of the entities of the Casa. And this has been
I want
beautiful.
to go. I want to go to the Casa maybe this summer. I don't
Good.
know, but
We will keep
yes,
in touch about it and
yes,
we'll meet on the
yes,
grounds because we
yes,
need to meet because there were so many people here back then that I never got a
yes,
chance to talk to on this level, which is so great. So we will keep in touch and I'll let you know
yes,
when I'm here, and then we'll make a big plan and we'll have a reunion,
yes.
physically, and I'll
Yes.
give you the biggest hug. And I'm
The,
so
the big,
grateful.
the biggest thing I learned from the Casa is your teaching. I want to end with that.
Thank you. That's an honor to God led
No,
me
really,
to it.
you inspired so many people. I'm just saying behalf of people I know, and
Oh,
you have big followers. Like
well,
I
that
think,
humbles me because if anyone told me I would be in the Casa praying 25 years ago, I would have just laughed in their faces. But I really, they saved me. The Casa saved my life. And anything I could do to serve, I did, and I will. And I'll never stop until I take my last breath. And even after that, I'll be working through the portal of the Casa when I go to the other side. So we'll be together forever.
yes, yes, yes.
Thank you so much, Kumi. And
Oh,
the work
thank you for
continues.
having
We
me.
keep going,
Yes,
keep
yes,
showing up, keep going.
yes,
we'll get there and we'll find peace at last. And thank you for that
Yes.
incentive for peace as well, on top of these agreeing to speak to me today, and keep the peace meditations going sporadically. I mean,
Yes.
when we can, let's really
Yes.
change the world together, one heart at
Yes.
a time. Yeah,
Yes.
love you. Thank
Love
you.
you too. Thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, darling. See you soon.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.